Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you are going to write down simple chemical formula for the simple ions. Now first of all, we need to understand what does it mean by simple ions. So I'm going to show you some of the example of simple positive ions. They are sodium, potassium, lithium, magnesium, barium, calcium, copper 1, copper 2, iron 2, and iron 3. Now, these are the simple positive ions, and we also have simple negative ions. They are fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodide, and oxide. So beside the simple ions, we also have polyatomic ions. The word polyatomic ions means more than one type of atom that form the ions. So I'm going to show you some example of polyatomic ions, and they are mostly the negative ion. The nitrate ion, hydroxide, carbonate, sulfate, and phosphate. So these are the polyatomic negative ions. So I'm going to show you an example. How do we write chemical formula for simple ions to start with? So I'm going to start with how do we write down chemical formula. So I'm going to start with some simple positive ion such as sodium fluoride. Now, when we write down the formula for simple ions, we always look at their charge, and the charge is always found on the top right hand side. So you have one positive and one negative. Whenever you have the same number, I'm going to combine them without adding any extra figure or number. So you will have answer like NaF. So you copy down as the symbol of the element. Now, I will show you some other example where they also show similar charge. For example, magnesium 2 positive with another simple polyatomic ions 2 negative. Now they have the same number, so what we do is we combine them without adding any number in extra. So what you do is whenever you see the same number, you always combine them like this. MgO, magnesium oxide. So again, you will notice that there is no addition number written next to the atom. So this is how you form the simple ions. Now I'm going to show you just one more example before we move on to the polyatomic ions. Now, if you have a simple positive ions, one positive again with one negative. So again, always double check the number. If there's no number written next to the charge, we always know that it's 1. Okay, so again, when the positive and the negative ion attract to one another, they neutralize. So when they neutralize, we do not write down the charge number anymore. So we will have potassium bromide, and they are neutralized in this way. So we get the formula of potassium bromide. Okay, now next I'm going to show you how you should write down chemical formula for polyatomic ions. Combination of polyatomic ions, okay, that start from the same charge number, sodium and nitrate. Okay, sodium and nitrate. So now again, the charge number is found on the right top corner, positive 1, okay, or 1 positive, and on the right top corner we have 1 negative. Now disregard these 3. Now this 3 is not the charge number. it's just the number which represent there are 3 oxygen that combine with 1 nitrogen, and the overall charge for this nitrate is 1 negative. So disregard these 3 when you want to form the formula. So in other words, we are looking at 1 and 1. So again, they have the same charge number. So what you do, okay, you're going to apply the same principle. Same principle, we're going to combine them without adding any extra figure. So I'm going to write down Na, and I know that it is just nitrate. So I'm going to put down nitrate as it is. Okay, so this 3 belongs to the oxygen, and this 3 is not the charge number. So do not worry about that 3. That 3 belongs to the nitrate. Now let's try another one. This time, let's say we have magnesium ion, 2 positive and a hydroxide ions. So again, okay, this shows different number. So this time the number from magnesium is 2. So I'm going to teach you swap and drop. Okay, so as a start, write down the number in order to avoid confusion. So you put down 2 from the charge number and 1 from the hydroxide on top. Now again, whenever we have different number, we always swap and drop. So I'm going to swap the 2 on this side, and I'm going to put 1 on the left hand side. Now the number that you have swapped over shows how many do we need for each of these ions. So the 1 here means we're going to have 1 magnesium. So we have 1 Mg, 1 Mg. So remember, we don't write number when it is 1. And we need 2 hydroxide. Now, we can't just put 2 behind the O, behind the H, because it only means there's only 2H. So in order to have 2 hydroxide, you need to have the bracket. Now the bracket is needed when we have polyatomic ions. Okay, bracket is needed when the polyatomic ions is more than 1. And always remember to put bracket around, okay, the whole thing, and followed by a subscript 2, a bottom corner 2. Okay, so again, this is how you write formula. Now I'm going to show you something else. This time we have potassium carbonate, right? So again, whenever you are given ion or formula or name of ion, write down the ion and then look at the charge number. So we have 1 and 2. So again, whenever we have different number, we always write down the number. So I'm going to start by writing down the number 1 and 2. So 2 come from the charge number on top. Now since we have different number, so again, we're going to swap over, swap and drop. Okay, so this is how we derive this number 2, 1. Okay, so that means we are going to use the 2 that denotes how many of them that we need for this ion. So the 2 in this case means we have 2 potassium ion. So I'm going to put down K2 right here. The 2 come down to the bottom right corner. And I only need 1 carbonate. So that's 1. So remember, 1 is where we don't write the number at all. So we have CO3. That is the formula of carbonate, and we only needed 1. So that's the reason why we only write down CO3. Now these 3 examples show some basic skill in writing formula. Now once you get the idea how to write the formula, then you can slowly develop your skill to form chemical equation. So in my next video, I will show you and share how you write chemical formula, and whenever you write chemical formula, it means it has to be balanced. So all the skills in learning chemistry start from your good fundamental knowledge in writing formula. See you next time.